The sun was setting over the bustling streets of Onitsha. Chinedu sat in his one-room apartment, his laptop and hard model with a cracked screen, hummed softly as he worked on a client's design. Chinedu was a young man with dreams bigger than his circumstances. He was a self-taught graphic designer who took on any job he could find to make ends meet. Though life was hard, he found joy in the love of his life, Amara. She was his rock, his motivation to keep pushing. Amara, however, was beginning to feel the weight of their struggles. Her friends often reminded her of what she was missing. They were dating wealthy men who showered them with expensive gifts, took them on trips, and ensured their lives were filled with luxury. Amara couldn't help but feel out of place when her friends flaunted their new designer bags and jewelries. They sometimes gave her their leftover clothes and accessories, and while she accepted them, it stung her pride. Amara, her friend Linda said one day, as they sat down in a very luxurious restaurant, all bills on Linda. "You are young and beautiful. Why waste your time suffering with Chinedu? Amara, there is no award for enduring poverty, and there is no award for any woman that suffered the most. Enjoy your life. You are still young. Life waits for no one. I've told you these times without number. Yes, you are struggling with this young man, but you can still enjoy yourself at the process." Amara hated how Linda was lingered in her mind. She loved Chinedu, but their life together was far from what she had envisioned. One evening, Linda invited Amara to a birthday party for a mutual friend. The venue was a lavish rooftop bar, and Amara felt out of place in her borrowed dress. The party was filled with influential and wealthy men, their laughter echoing against the city skyline. Amaka was sipping her drink when her eyes met those of a man across the room. He was tall, handsome, and expensively dressed. His confidence was majestic, and his piercing gaze made her heart race. For a moment, the world around her faded. The man smiled and walked towards her. "Hi, I'm Kevin," he said, his deep voice smooth as silk. Amara introduced herself shyly, but Kevin's charm quickly put her at ease. They talked for hours, and she felt a spark she hadn't felt in years. When he asked her for a number, she hesitated but eventually gave it to him. Kevin wasted no time pursuing Amara. He sent her flowers, took her to expensive restaurants, and made her feel like a queen. Amara, caught in the whirlwind of his affection, began sneaking out to see him. She told herself it was harmless, just a distraction from her struggles with Chinedu. But Chinedu began to notice these changes. Amara became distant, her phone constantly buzzing with messages she refused to share. She often had flimsy excuses for her absence, and Chinedu heart sank each time he sensed her drifting away. Still, he trusted her. After all, he had sacrificed so much for her, paying her school fees and also supporting her family in the little way he could. One evening, Amara returned home, visibly upset, tears streaming down her face as she sat down beside Chinedu. "Chinedu," she began, her voice trembling, "my parents want me to marry someone else. He's rich, and they said he can take care of us better than you could ever do." Chinedu was stunned. He held her hand tightly, his voice breaking as he spoke. "Amara, when did this happen? But you know I love you so much, Amara. And everything I've done for you and your family. Please don't let this happen. Don't let this happen." "And who is this young man?" he asked. Amara shook her head, tears flowing freely. "I don't know him. I actually do not know who he is. He just came to our house the other day and met my parents, and he started asking for my hand in marriage. I barely know him." Emeka was shocked and heartbroken, but determined. The next day, he visited Amara parents, pleading with them to reconsider. But their response was cold. Days turned into weeks, and Amara grew more distant. Chinedu couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to this story. One evening, he decided to follow her. He watched from a distance as Amara met Kevin at an upscale restaurant. They laughed and held hands. The chemistry between them undeniable. Chinedu heart shattered as the truth hit him like a wave. He hired a friend to dig deeper. The findings confirmed his worst fears. Amara and Kevin had been seeing each other for months. Kevin had even proposed to her. Chinedu comforted Amara one evening, his voice trembling with anger and hurt. How could you do this to me, Amara? After everything I've done for you, you think I won't find out? Eh? Amara couldn't meet his gaze. What are you talking about? What do you mean by what am I talking about? You and this Kevin of a guy has been dating for months now, Amara. And you hid it from me. Amara, what have I done to you? I love you, just that things are not really fine with me now. But that doesn't mean things won't change for better tomorrow, Amara. Why do you want to do this to me? Remember, I'm the one who saw you through school. Amara, I'm trying in my own way. Please consider, please. You know I love you so much. Please, don't do this to me now. Amara, please. Amara was taken aback, but determined. She said, I didn't plan for this to happen, Chinedu. But I'm sorry. Kevin offers me a life I can't have with you. Chinedu, we have been in this together. Struggling. I've been with you, hoping that things will get better. But I think I have to choose myself now. Please. I'm from a poor family. I need to help my family. I need to help my siblings. You don't expect me to be stuck with you. You are saying things will get better. You've been saying this for years. When you've been saying this for years, Chinedu. If you love me, you can't. Please let me go. Let me go. I can't do this with you. If it's about the money you use in training me, in seeing me through school, I can pay you back. I'll pay you back. Here was Kevin shattered in an instant when you were short of words. That was suffering to pay your school fees. Here was he. All my sacrifices meant nothing. You don't even regard me. Pay me back. Amara looked up. Her eyes filled with tears. I'm sorry, Chinedu, but I need more than love to survive. Love is not enough. Love cannot bring food on this table. Love cannot take care of me, Chinedu. Please, you need to look for your class. You need to look for a girl, your class, please. I need to, I want a good life as well. Besides, I did not come to this world to suffer, she said. As she walked out of his life, Chinedu stood there, broken. He vowed to himself to rise above the pain, to rebuild himself and prove that his worth isn't tied to anyone's approval. Life had taken a dramatic turn since Amara got married to Kevin. Gone were the days of craping with Chinedu. Now, her life was a life of luxury. Kevin provided her family with everything they could ever dream of. Lavish trips abroad, expensive gifts, and a lifestyle that screamed luxury. Her friends envied her, constantly calling her the luckiest woman on earth. But beneath the surface, something growled at Amara. Her health had become a recurring problem. Since her marriage, She had been battling constant infections. She spent countless hours in hospital, waiting rooms, undergoing treatment upon treatment, popping pills. The doctor said it could be stress or something she contacted. But deep down, Amara suspected her husband of infidelity. Kevin was charming and generous, but he was also secretive. His phones were always locked, and his excuses for late night and sudden business trip were flimsy at best. Amara tried to catch him in the act, but Kevin was so careful, like too careful to be caught. One weekend, Amara traveled to her parents' house in the village. It was meant to be a relaxing break, but unease lingered in her heart. She decided to return to the city a day earlier than planned. She didn't inform Kevin, waiting to surprise him. As her driver pulled into the driveway of their luxurious mansion, Amara felt a strange sense of unease. She stepped out of the car, her heels clicking against the marble floor as she made her way into the house. The place was quiet. As she reached their bedroom door, she paused, her heart pounding, and she pushed it open. What she saw made her world crumble. Kevin was in bed, tangled with two women, both of them laughing and completely unaware of her presence. They were so engrossed in the act that they didn't notice her until she screamed, "What's going on here?" Amara shouted, her voice shaking with rage. She lunged towards one of the women, her hand raised to slap her, but Kevin was faster. He grabbed her hand. "Don't you dare!" He back, his voice cold and unrecognizable. Amara froze, her breath hitching. "Kevin," she whispered, tears streaming down her face. "How could you do this to me? In our bed, my matrimonial room." Kevin, releasing her hands, "Why don't you tell me you'll be coming back today?" he asked nonchalantly, as if she were the one at fault. Amara felt the room spinning. She stared at the man she had married. Kevin didn't even bother to apologize. Instead, he motioned for the women to leave. "Go," he said, his tone calm and commanding. The women hurried out, their head bowed down, leaving Amara and Kevin alone. Amara sank to the floor, sobbing uncontrollably. "Kevin, what is this? You wanted a life of luxury, don't you? You got it. I'm a man of my own. You don't question what I do. I got married to you. I pay your bride price. I make you my wife. You are lucky to be my wife. And anything I do, the way I live my life, you have no business with that. You are here for the money. Enjoy the money. Enjoy the luxury. And don't you dare any day interfere in my affairs." He warmed her. His words cut through her like a knife. She didn't believe it. Kevin, a man who pampered and showed her love, had turned against her in one day. Kevin, meanwhile, continued his reckless ways, unbothered by her departure. Amara packed a small bag and left the house that night. She couldn't bear to stay under the same roof as Kevin. The betrayal was too much and her heart ached with regret. She returned to her parents broken and ashamed. Kevin, meanwhile, continued his reckless life, unbothered by her. He had always viewed relationships as transactions. As Amara sat on the veranda of her parents' house, staring into distance, it's been months since she left Kevin, her heart shattered by his unending infidelity. She had tried to hold the marriage together, hoping against hope that it would change, but discovering he even slept with her best friends was the final blow. Now, back under her parents' roof, she struggled with feelings of failure and regret. One afternoon, a black flashy car pulled into their dusty compound. The sound of the horn jolted Amara from her thoughts. She stepped outside and froze in shock. Chinedu stepped out of the car, his confidence evident in the way he carried himself. He was no longer the struggling young man she had left behind. He was now dressed in an expensive suit, his wrist adorned with a gleaming gold watch. "Amara," he said with a smile, his voice warm but commanding. "How have you been?" Amara stammered, her eyes gleaming with tears. She couldn't believe it. The man she had betrayed now stood before her, transformed and successful. Chinedu took her out that day, driving her to a high-end restaurant where they talked for hours. He didn't bring up the past or her betrayer. Instead, he focused on the present. Amara learned that after she left him, Chinedu had vowed to succeed. He threw himself into his work, starting a tech company that quickly became a major success. As week turned into months, they began dating. Chinedu showered Amara with gifts and attention, determined to prove that his love for her wasn't waived. When he proposed, it was a grand affair, and their wedding became the talk of the town. Guests marveled at the story of a man who forgave and gave his ex a second chance. Married life with Chinedu was nothing short of luxurious. He bought Amara a mansion, filled her wardrobe with designer clothes, and ensured she never lacked anything. Amara became a housewife, living a life of luxury while maid handled every chore. Chinedu had one peculiar habit, though he constantly brought home food. Every evening, he arrived with bags of shawarma, pizza, meat pies, and sugary drinks. "Eat up, my love," he will say, beaming with pride. "I know you suffered with that your useless Kevin, but with me, you will never lack. I love you so much. Chop my money, my wife." Amara always laughed it off, touched by his care. She ate everything he bought, feeling pampered and adored. As time went on, Amara began to notice changes in her body. Her clothes became tighter and she grew tired more easily. She suggested going to the gym, but Chinedu waved it up. "Gym? For what? I love the way you are. I love my woman fat and chubby. I love you the way you are. You are fat and healthy. That's my dream wife. I love you the way you are. Don't bother yourself." His words reassured her and she dismissed her worries. But the weight kept piling on. Soon, she found herself struggling to walk up the stairs. She couldn't fit into her favorite dresses, and simple tasks became exhausting. Despite her growing discomfort, Chinedu continued his routine of bringing food. He insisted on hiring maids to do all the work, leaving Amara with nothing to do but sit and eat. She began to feel trapped in her home body. But her love for Chinedu blinded her to the signs. One day, Amara realized she couldn't fit through the door of their bedroom without turning sideways. She sat in the living room, barely able to move, as Chinedu walked in with a group of friends. They sat down, laughing and talking, but Amara noticed their eyes darting towards her. At first, she thought she was imagining it, but then the joke began. "Chinedu, your wife is really enjoying your money," one of his friends said, laughing. "She's living proof that wealth can't hide," another added, and the room erupted in laughter. Amara's face burned with humiliation. She stared at Chinedu, expecting him to defend her, but he only laughed. "Ah, my wife is a full package now," he said. That night, Chinedu sacked the maid, leaving Amara to handle the household chores. Days turned into weeks, and Amara's situation grew worse. Chinedu no longer treated her with love and care he once showed. Instead, he mocked her at every opportunity, using her weight as a weapon to humiliate her. One day, Amara sat at the dining table brought home. She struggled to eat as tears welled up in her eyes. Sensing the growing disdain in her husband's voice, Chinedu leaned back in his chair, holding a glass of wine. "Look at you," he said. "The once proud Amara, who thought I wasn't good enough for her. Look at how life has humbled you. Now you are nothing but a fat, helpless, dirty woman. Chinedu, please stop, Amara whispered, her voice trembling. Stop. Why should I? You think I forgot how you left me for Kevin? Marrying you was the best revenge ever. Watching you become this thing has really been satisfying to me, he said. Amara was left heartbroken. One evening, Chinedu invited his friends over for a house party. Amara stayed in her room, too embarrassed to join them because she had grown so fat that she couldn't even pass through the doorway. Her self-confidence was zero. Chinedu called her out. Amara, come oh my dear wife, he said loudly, asking her to join the group. Let everyone see how well I've been taking care of you. Come down here. As Amara entered the room, the laughter started. Wow, Chinedu, you are not lying, no. She is twice the size of the last time we saw her. Hey! Chinedu laughed along with them. Of course, I told you I'm feeding her well now. She wanted a life of luxury and I'm giving it to her back to back. Now she's enjoying it too much. Hey! Amara face burned with humiliation. Then she tried to leave. Chinedu grabbed her hand. Where are you going? Where are you going? Can you even walk up to that? I beg, sit down in one place before you faint here. Amara felt so humiliated and heartbroken. After sacking the maid, Chinedu forced Amara to do all the housework. One afternoon, as she struggled to sweep the living room, Chinedu entered with a mocking smile. You are still not done. He watched her as she struggled to move with her growing weight. You wanted to sit and eat all day, right? Now you can't clean the mansion yourself. Eh? A very lazy woman. Amara stopped, leaning on the broom for support. Chinedu, why are you treating me like this now? I thought you loved me. Chinedu laughed coldly.